So I finished watching the sixth episode of Star Wars The Acolyte. The episode is called Teach/Corrupt. So if you haven't seen my spoiler-free review, it'll be linked down in the description and in the cards. I will be talking about spoilers. So this episode, there's two things going on. One is a return to the double bill, the double theme titles, Teach/Corrupt, rather than just one word like we had in the previous episode. This episode is also much slower than the last episode, and it served it well because after that big action scene, everything that came down in the last episode, we needed to slow down and let the plot catch up. So, what are the plots? Well, there's basically three plots going on. We have what's going on between May, Sol, and Basil on the ship, and we have what's going on between Camille and Osha, and then we have everything going on with Venestra and the Jedi Lodge, because Sol does try to send communication but is unable to. All that is going on. They have not intersected at all. Eventually, I think they will. But let's talk about what's going on with the Venestra storyline. Basically, she's informed that Master Sol sent distress signal and that they can't reestablish contact, so she assembles a team and goes herself to, figure out what's going on. And one thing I do want to know, apparently one of the Jedi, one who has a very British-sounding accent to me, if I got the accent down right, basically alludes to that apparently Venestra gets space sick, but she claims she doesn't. I know a little bit about her from the High Republic books because she's one of the few established characters from the High Republic to actually be in the Acolyte. And I honestly don't know if it was that powerful characterization back then or not. Though, from what I understand, everything that she went through, I wouldn't blame her if she developed some queasiness in hyperspace and all that. But anyhow, they arrive on the planet, they find all the bodies. And did they have to show us the bodies of Yord and Jackie? Did they have to show that to us? No, but they did it anyhow. Just further tug on our heartstrings and make us sad and heartbroken. Man, they really know how to do that, those creators. They really do know how to do it. And especially because they showed Jackie first. At least show Yord first. I'm just saying. They wanted the impact of all that. And so they're trying to piece the scene together to figure out what happened. And what does Venestra do? I think she senses that she might have a little bit of psychometry potentially. But she basically asks one of the Jedi with her, what does he see? What does he sense? Kind of deal. And they determine that some basically rogue force user with a lightsaber did it. Yeah, that's really all they do. I wonder if Venestra is suspecting something more. That one Jedi says he doubts I was Master Sol. He doubts I Master Sol was rogue. And Venestra just said that's a pretty strong accusation. And I have a feeling she doesn't suspect that at all. I think she might suspect, she probably knows a little bit more about the Sith than the average Jedi, being a Jedi Master and all. She's like, Sith couldn't have returned, could they? I don't know, but I think she does suspect something more. And that scene with her using her light whip from the trailer, yep, we finally got it. I was expecting that to be part of a much bigger scene, but no, it's just one scene where they're attacked by a creature in the woods. It was neat to see it, but it's exactly what we saw in the trailer. Nothing about it. It establishes that she's a little bit different than the other Jedi, because I believe it's also purple in color, which actually would make her the second canon Jedi in live action to have a purple lightsaber. Huh? She's up there with Mace Windu at least. But that is something interesting to note, that scene that they really showed off in the trailers and marketing ended up being not too much going on in the actual show. I don't have anything else to say about that. But let's talk about with Sol and May. Now, at the end of the last episode, we were all wondering, does Sol actually know or not? And I don't think he knew initially, but he still had suspicions. And I think the entire time he had suspicions, but because he was so mentally exhausted by everything that was happening, his senses were not fully picking up on stuff. He was unsure. And there's several things you can tell where he tested stuff. Like there was, going back to the last episode, he says, "Where's your sister?" Now he's saying not where's May, but where's your sister, to see if May/Osha. He probably wasn't sure yet which one, because he was so exhausted. He was ambiguous still. And then there's a scene where he talks about May's master and finding him, and then he asks the question, "Where did you find him?" And so there's two things going on. he's either one, legitimately surprised that Osha found her pip droid back and wants to know where she found him, or he is wondering, could this still be May? I'm not sure. I'm so exhausted I can't tell. I'm gonna ask this clever question. And then May, being smart, feigns like, what? Huh? And then Soka clarifies about her pip droid. Which, by the way, May factory resets, but at the same time, she hears from So how Osha was very caring to her pip droid, showed no attention, love, affection, even though it was just a droid. And I think that's partly going to get May thinking a little bit too. And then there's a few other things too. And then eventually, So does stun May, and then we see Bazza. So I think Bazza confirmed to So his suspicion that he just wasn't so sure of because of how emotionally exhausted he was. He was not thinking clearly. I mean, right after that scene where he stuns May, he turns off the communication and immediately goes to hyperspace instead of staying around for the Jedi. But at the same time, I think he also knows he owes May an explanation, and he's going to give it to May in the next episode. Of course, it's going to be in the next episode. But I think we will finally figure out what truly happened on Brindok all those years ago, those 16 years ago. And I think whatever has happened is going to be some mistake that the Jedi, that So specifically, is deeply ashamed of. There's a lot of people who are trying to, especially in the online discourse, paint about how the show is showing that the Jedi are being really bad and all that. No, the Jedi are generally pretty good. But it's okay for them to make mistakes. And I think what we're going to see is a big mistake, misunderstanding, that So felt powerless and, he reacted in the way he didn't like, and he's been regretting ever since. Things like that. Like, I don't mind showing that the Jedi are flawed, that the Jedi make mistakes that are not perfect all the time. But I'm really frustrated with a lot of the online discourse that are looking to make the Jedi's the villains of the story, which I don't think that's the case. Camille, Darth Teeth, he's still going to be the villain of the story. And let's transition to him now, shall we? So, he's obviously doing his manipulation tactics on Osha, and Osha does kind of pick that up on, but at the same time, it's working. She's starting to have her doubts and all that. And it's like, and what he's saying is, it's a thing of half-truths, lies of omission, lies. Like, he talks about, he makes illusion that he was once trained by the Jedi, but he never outright stated. And then when May asks his scars on the back about it, which he deliberately showed those off to her twice. That was deliberate. He never said it was his Jedi Master who stabbed him in the back. Osha just asked that question, and he let her believe it. Think of that. He never confirmed it. Probably with his actual dark side master, Sith Master. May recognizes what... Sorry, not May. Osha recognizes what Camille is doing and says that she won't fall for it like her sister. And she's falling for it. And that is clear at the end. I was like screaming in my head, don't do it, Osha, don't do it. And that was regarding Camille's helmet. He's talking about his major kurtosis. He named dropped kurtosis, by the way. Yes, I made a mistake of referring to Beskar in my last review, but in my defense, I'm pretty sure they used the exact same sound effect they used for lightsabers hitting Beskar from The Mandalorian, so I'm not totally out there. Plus, I forgot about kurtosis from Legends, and also from canon if you read the Thrawn Alliance's book. But anyhow, he talks about it being, also being a sensory deprivation chamber, and he suggests very loosely that maybe Osha should put it on. But, Osha does somewhat recognize what he's trying to do and say, well, you don't have to trust me, you just gotta trust yourself. I'm like, don't do it, Osha. And what does she do? She puts it on, and the episode ends with her grieving with the helmet, and a couple cuts outside, but eventually the episode just fades to black with her, from her point of view, with the helmet on. I'm like, she did it. And so the twins, I think, are essentially going to switch alignment. Maybe not quite. But one other thing to note, Osha doesn't mention Camille. The reason why she left the Jedi Order is because she failed. How did she fail? Why did she fail? What did she fail? Those are questions we still have. Was it, did she, for lack of a better term, fail to, successfully defend her senior thesis? Okay, obviously I don't think Jedi do anything like that, but something like that, failed to pass some test. Or was it she failed something, the Jedi were fully willing to give her a second chance, but she just said, "You know what, I'm done, I'm leaving," because of wherever she failed? Like, was it, so I think it's probably everyone was agreeing that she failed, but was she kicked out because she failed, or did she choose to leave because she failed, even if she was being given a second chance to redo the test or something like that? We don't know. But I think Soul would have definitely given her a second chance, because there's this other scene between Soul and May. I think in that moment, Soul legitimately thought it was Osha and not May. Remember, he's in emotional distress. He's emotionally drained. He just does not have his energy. He's emotionally exhausted. Well, he hugs her, and you can tell he's letting his emotions down, his guard down. He does that a few other episodes, like when he's resetting the communication array, where he slams his fist down on the console angrily. A few other things there. It's showing that he has stuff he's frustrated about, he's angry about. And when he's giving his a hug to May, thinking it was Osha, he says about how she saved him, because he was about to give in to his anger and his hate during that fight against Camille. And that, I think, is going to also be impacting May as well. Because notice, in the when May first woke up on the ship, she did try, she found a knife and was going to kill Soul. Soul senses something. I think, not quite sure if it was May or Osha, but again, he's emotionally exhausted. But he does sense that she's there, at the very least. And after that, we never see her attempt to kill Soul again. But throughout the episode, we see Osha multiple times threaten to kill Camille, but never actually does. She finds one of May's knife. She doesn't use that. She picks up Camille's lightsaber. She doesn't use it, even though eventually gets to the point where he's threatening her to turn it on and kill him. And she's responding like, Jedi don't kill, unarmed and all that. And eventually, Camille provokes Osha just enough, the right way. She ignites her lightsaber, and that's the scene where she admits that she failed and left the Jedi Order. Again, we don't know why she failed or how she failed. But it's interesting, he pushed the right buttons to get her to act on her anger, her resentment, even though it was directed towards him. Because, one, I think he knew he was going to be safe the entire time, and two, he's manipulating Osha to become his next apprentice, his next acolyte, whichever term we want to use, because he wants something and he's only telling half-truths and lies of omission, and some fortress all about that, to successfully manipulate Osha. Yeah, he wants power, duh. He's a dark side. He wants power. That's the nature of the dark side in Star Wars. The dark side, they may have some genuine kind moments, but it's always going to be in advancement of their own needs. The light side will make mistakes, will stumble, but as demonstrated in Soul, any guilt they have will rack at them and will impact them, and if they let it fester, it might lead to the darkness, but it might not. Again, we gotta wait and see in the next episode, because truly I think everything in here is concluding what happened before, introducing a lot of new stuff, so that way we can get gut punched in the next episode. Again, really, we'll probably have a lot of, every episode probably to the end is gonna have some kind of gut punch. We had all the Jedi, including Yod and Jackie, being killed in the last episode. This episode we get to see their bodies once again in their I don't know why they did that to us. I still don't know why. But you know what? This is what I do know. Despite them doing that, this was still a great and amazing episode, and it was really good to slow down, to focus on the aftermath of the battle and how all the characters are dealing with it. May and Soul basically are on the pathway to coming to terms about what happened on Bregdock because of what happened on, I forget the planet's name. Camille is manipulating Osha, and then Van Nestor is now on the path as well, and to figure out what happened. And we still don't know everyone's motivations, but sufficient, but it is sufficient to say we are coming near the end game for all this. But those are just my thoughts. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching my video. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please be sure to give this video a like and share. Also, consider subscribing to my channel to stay up to date on all my latest content. You can also stay up to date on my content by following me on social media. I have a link tree down in the description which has all my social media links on it. Additionally, if you would like to support the channel, you can become a channel member and get early access to all my videos. In the meantime, thank you for watching, and as always, have a good day, a good night, wherever you are. May the Force be with you always.